A Mortal's Journey to Immortality Episode 215. In the previous episode, Li and Nangong Wan had finally reunited after years of separation. Though their joy was overshadowed by danger, Nangong Wan's senior martial sister, now a mid-nascent soul cultivator, was hunting her down, leaving them with little choice but to prepare for battle. Confident yet cautious, Li agreed to help her set an ambush rather than face the enemy head-on, while Nangong Wan focused on restoring her spiritual power. Li laid down layers of spell formations throughout the hall, weaving every hidden defense he could muster. He even summoned Silvermoon, his artifact spirit, entrusting her with a powerful treasure to prevent their opponent's escape. But before the trap was complete, a sudden disturbance revealed a spy, one of Nangong Wan's disciples, snooping outside the hall. With just a flick of Li's power and Silvermoon's swift intervention, the intruder was subdued. And the episode 215 continues. Setting Sun Hall was the residence for the Great Elder for many successive generations of the Masked Moon sect. It was not just a hall, it was a fortress of both spiritual energy and layered restrictions. Few could enter without the explicit permission of the Great Elder. On this day, however, a streak of red light suddenly appeared on the horizon. It darted and revolved around the hall several times, bypassing the layers of protection effortlessly, as though the barriers did not exist. The red light twisted through the defenses and finally entered a side room, where a young woman sat in meditation on a prayer mat. Her appearance was striking: icily pale skin, delicate features, early 20s in age, with a faint aura of cold qi radiating from her body. The red light hovered before her, and when she opened her eyes, a frown appeared. She beckoned to it, and it fell into her hand as a fist-sized sphere of crimson flame. She studied it briefly before casually extinguishing it with a flick of her hand. A thought crossed her mind. What is that girl planning? Taking the initiative to contact me? Yet her tone is gentle. I should see for myself. Without hesitation, she soared into the sky, a streak of white light, exiting Setting Sun Hall and flying swiftly to Nangong Wan's cave residence. Upon arrival, she carefully surveyed her surroundings. The protective restrictions outside the cave were damaged and ineffective, and she entered confidently, striking the stone door with a white spell seal that caused it to open. Inside, a young woman dressed in yellow immediately bowed and saluted. I pay my respects to martial ancestor. The icy woman glanced at her casually. Your cultivation has progressed since I last saw you. You must have taken the medicine pills I provided. The yellow-clothed woman lowered her head, replying respectfully, thanks to martial ancestor, this disciple's progress has been swift. The icy woman's curiosity shifted to Nangong Wan. Has junior martial sister Nangong done anything unusual in her cave? Nothing much, the young woman answered. Only a visit from a sect disciple today. She already reported it to me via sound talisman. What gift did that disciple bring? And has he left? He was a low-grade steward, and he left hours ago. After receiving the gift, martial ancestor Nangong seemed uneasy. The icy woman's expression darkened slightly. Oh, what kind of gift? A silver sword magic tool. Martial ancestor Nangong felt unsettled upon seeing it. The woman pondered briefly, then muttered, it must have been from a wandering cultivator she befriended. Nothing truly strange. The yellow-clothed woman continued carefully. She sent a voice transmission talisman after a long moment of thought. The icy woman's eyes flickered. Surprising, it changed her mind? She casually instructed, keep a close watch on Nangong Wan. Use the high-grade talisman I gave you to spy undetected. Rewards await if you perform well. The two arrived outside the main hall. As you command, martial ancestor. Martial ancestor Nangong should be waiting inside, said the young woman. The icy woman prepared to examine the hall before entering. But Nangong Wan's voice called from within, calm yet firm. Senior martial sister. Come in. I have considered the matter and can reluctantly agree, on one condition. You must promise me something. Pleased, the icy woman entered and spoke pleasantly. Junior martial sister Nangong, it is good that you've realized this. Agree to marry the Flowing Mind sect's elder Wei, and I will accept any condition you raise. With Wei Wuya's help, our sect will flourish. Inside the hall, Nangong Wan sat calmly in a straw chair, carefully examining the crudely refined silver sword across her body. The icy woman was momentarily bewildered. She was about to ask more questions when her expression abruptly changed. In a flash, she lashed out, shooting 5-inch-long sword lights from her fingers toward the yellow-clothed woman. The young woman reacted with a strange smile, her body sinking into the stone in a flash of yellow light. Leaving only tattered clothing behind, she reappeared instantly, moving swiftly to escape. But then a 10-meter-long azure sword whistled toward her, aimed to cleave her in two. Her expression shifted drastically. She flicked her fingers, releasing 10-foot-long streaks of icy light to strike the massive sword. A loud series of clashes echoed as the sword and the woman recoiled from the impact. The icy woman retreated about 10 meters before stopping, while the azure sword dimmed, splitting into several tens of smaller flying swords. Circling around a figure, within the revolving swords stood a youth with a common appearance, gazing at the woman with a faint smile. Shock filled her eyes. What is going on? Junior Marshal's sister Nangong. Who is he? And what was that doppelganger of yours? She drew a red command medallion from her waist. Han Li immediately recognized it. The restriction medallion, he muttered sullenly. The woman's hostility rose. Junior Marshal Nangong has told you everything. I don't know who you are, but these matters concern the masked moon sect. Stand down, or the 6 sects will hunt you. Nangong Wan calmly responded. Senior Marshal's sister, there is no need for threats. I am not without friends. If they knew what you did to a fellow sect member, would you survive? You may activate the heart restriction technique with that medallion, but I will not allow it. She then spat out a ring of flame, summoning the vermilion bird band, her magical treasure. The icy woman's eyes gleamed with malice. She did not intend to retreat and tossed out a pair of flying swords. One white as snow, radiating icy chi, and the other black, flickering with fantastical flames, a rare yin-yang sword pair. She shook the red command medallion, muttering incantations that caused it to glow with a layer of red light. Han Li, watching closely, acted without hesitation. A small silver bell began to revolve around his head. With an incantation gesture, it rang, sending silver sound waves at her. At nearly the same time, Han Li rolled his hands together, sending a streak of red and a streak of azure light towards some nearby pillars in the hall. As the hall's restrictions were activated, the ground trembled. And that wraps up this episode. In this part, we saw Han Li and Nangong Wan caught in a tense and high-stakes situation within the heavily protected setting Sun Hall. The episode focused on strategy, skill, and the intricate balance of power within the masked moon sect. We saw an icy woman, a formidable and mysterious figure, attempting to test Nangong Wan and challenge Han Li, using her powerful yin-yang swords and the red command medallion. Her attack was swift and precise, showing her mastery of both icy and fiery chi, as well as her ability to manipulate powerful artifacts. Han Li, however, demonstrated remarkable awareness and quick thinking. He immediately recognized the threat posed by the command medallion, deployed his silver bell to send precise soundwave attacks, and used both red and azure light to activate the hall's ancient restrictions. This episode really showcases his ability to adapt in critical situations and turn the environment into a weapon. It also highlights the depth of Nangong Wan's abilities and her calm, strategic approach even when facing an unexpected and dangerous opponent. Beyond the action, this episode also explores the themes of loyalty, trust, and intelligence. We see Nangong Wan standing firmly against the icy woman, showing that her alliances and careful planning make her a formidable cultivator. At the same time, Han Li's ingenuity and courage remind us that power is not only about strength, but also about awareness, preparation, and clever tactics. It's a great example of how skill and strategy can overcome even the most dangerous threats. If you enjoyed this episode or found it exciting, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any of the latest episodes in Han Li's journey. Your support helps us bring more episodes with detailed summaries and exciting moments. Thank you so much for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video, where more challenges and adventures await Han Li.